All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, and welcome to our, what is this, the 13th stream? 14th? Yeah, I think this is the 14th stream, though. All right. Okay, here we go. This is more or less where we stopped in the previous stream. We were creating the seating arrangements for our bar, and we were making this thing so we can later on reuse it inside Unreal. So we want to basically take this chair and then export our two versions, a low version and a high poly version, where we can bake up all the details. This is more or less what we finished up with from last time. Let me open up the reference images. And this is basically what we were going for. And I think that more or less we kind of got there. So this thing is in alignment with what we want to achieve. So we just need to basically export out a low poly and a high poly version and then bake down all the details. Now the only thing that I can see that I'm kind of missing at the moment is, hey Sarah, how you doing? The only thing that I can see that I'm missing right now is that these ropes here, actually what I'm gonna have to do is make a high poly version of these as well, because from what we have here they look more like springs than ropes. So we're gonna have to deal with that issue. So let's really quickly deal with that. Oh snap, I've actually collapsed this. All right, well that's gonna make it a bit more complicated, but really not that much. So I'm gonna just isolate both of these and then rotate this thing back to 45. And let's see if I can just go in here and from here select one of these edges and create a shape from the selection. Now the good question is, can I just move this thing with the push modifier towards the inside? So let's see. Oh, no, not you, not you. I want to get the actual spline that I just created, like that. Now with the push it inwards. Oh, where's it pushing it at? Okay, let's try this with it. Or not. All right, no problem. We can fix this. Delete this, rendering, enabling viewport, and renderer. Now decrease the thickness to 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. Yeah, 0.5 is fine. All right, so this is going to replace what we have here. But before I do that, what I want to do is make sure that I have at least a bit of space between this. Hey, Bile Nerman. Hey, what up, man? FreeW67. Dude, your meme about my weight gain was amazing. You made me laugh. 0.6 is about fine. All right, so 0.6 is gonna fix it just great. Now I just need to interpolation decrease the steps because we really do not need that much. Yeah, what can I say? I got bloated, but then again, you know what? I don't care. Hey Ferdy, what up? All right, so now here's what I'm trying to do. If I basically go in and compare these two, they're very similar. But the problem that I did previously is that I collapsed these so I can like basically just like work with them. What I want to do now, though, is before I collapse this, I'm actually going to make a swivel, or basically just take two of these lines and make them interconnected with each other, and then make them follow this line. Hey, Carlos. Bilal? Bilal. Man, why does your name sound like Belial? Oh, wait. Belial? That's your name? You sound like one of the bosses from Diablo. If that is your name, you have an amazing name. Alright, so isolate this thing. Now, go here and take one of the helixes. Height is whatever. So now go with a 0.2 and a 0.2. I do. I pronounce it wrong. What's the right way to pronounce it? Well, that was a stupid thing of me to ask. How are you going to pronounce it? Belial. Eh. All right. Be right back. I gotta close the window. All right, back. Yeah, but you know what? It's Belial. Because guess what? I have farmed you on Diablo 2. You actually used to drop pretty decent loot. Alright, so now let's go with the turns and drop in. Okay, that's about fine. Now the height is going to be about 10 meters. So more turns. 20, 25. Now for this, the thickness should be a lot smaller. 0.2, I think. Now hold down Shift and just drag out one more version about 180. Oh, hey, Jay, hold on a sec. Select both of these. This is not nearly as long as it's supposed to be. Okay, all right, I'm gonna delete this time. So this is gonna go to be a lot higher. So the height instead of 10 is 30 and 75 thirds. Like that. Again, hold on Shift, 180. So now, let's see. Yeah, I think this is gonna be better now. So just so I'm okay with this, edit poly, select these guys, delete, select the one on the bottom, delete, Now, attach with this thing. Again, delete, and the other cap as well. Delete. Okay, now what we want to do is select this thing and center it, and on the Z, just drop it down all the way down there. All right, so now comes the funny part. Turn off this thing and make this thing follow this line. I'm gonna actually save this thing before I do anything else. So a path modifier here, or path deform. Hey Moon, what up man? Pick the path, move the path, and where's this thing? Okay, X, Y, Z, move the path, really? All right, hell, fine, you don't want to go there, then go there. Just, you're gonna be stretching quite a bit. Okay, let's see how far this thing is supposed to stretch. You don't want it to go all the way there. No, not moving 100%, just move the stretch. Yeah, I think this is more or less how big we want to get this thing. It should be fine. All right, so now right click, collapse to. Yes. Now this thing, center it to object and make it so it comes over there. There we go. And there we go. We basically have the high poly for that thing. And in here, we just enable and render in viewport. This thing is going to be the low poly, and now we have both the low poly and the high poly. So baking this thing should be simpler. There we go. See, I told you this wasn't going to be hard. Yeah, let's delete those. Oh, hey, wait a second. Something is off. I don't need this much geometry here either, so go with 8 sides. For some reason I have way too many steps in this thing. My guess is the spline thing has oh well. Let me check something else then before we do this. Oh yeah, see, this is the problem. We have way too many of these vertices. So that means when I created this spline, I created it with way too many. So I can either go ahead and manually remove these, or just go ahead and go into the spline, find, what was it called? No. I know that for a fact that there is a normalized, I think it was called normalized. Yeah, normalized spline. There you go. So the length should be 1 centimeter. Yeah, this is gonna make it a lot easier for us to work with. So right click, convert to a spline. So there we go. Now we have a much cleaner spline. I do not need. There we go. So enabling render in viewport. There we go. A much lower version. So instead of having 6,000 polygons, we're down to 1,000. I probably can get away with going even lower than this, but you know what? Let's just keep this thing, because when we bake this, it's gonna look nice. It's gonna give us a really nice look for this. All right, so isolate both of these and check them out. I think, oh, no. not those two. These two. There we go. So they're just fine. Go to world. Downwards, upwards, and collapse. There we go. Move it downwards and collapse. All right, now before I do anything else, I want to test this thing because I want to see make sure that this thing unwrapped just perfectly. So quickly, just on the low poly, let's throw in a quick save. UV clear, unwrapping BW, select this entire ring there, select this entire ring, hit it with the convert selection to seams. Go all the way. I'm gonna hit this. Okay, so we're gonna go like this. Start from here and point to point seam. And this thing is going to go all the way to this side, and there's only one way to reach it, so click there. And of course, it's going to choose the stupidest possible route and just whatever. Add selection to seam, open up the UV editor, and here just drop in our simple peel mode. Yeah, that's gonna work until it, damn it, whatever. Okay, we're gonna do it the other way. I'm going to delete Q, and I'm going to delete U, and then I'm going to unwrap this whole thing, like that. Where the hell does it go? Okay, so it goes from there to there. Okay, that's good to know. Just don't crash. Don't crash. I'm gonna go back. There we go. Unwrapping on live stream is highly unadvisable. But yeah, what can you do? Point to point seam, so go from there all the way up to here. Is this gonna be better now? No, it's still gonna be crap. Okay, all right. All right. I guess it's one of those days today. Open an editor. Snap it right like that. Amazing. Oh, turn off the peel mode. Okay, now. Oh, this is gonna crash now, is it? No. No, it won't crash. It's gonna stay just right. What I'm doing right now though is selecting the whole thing and just pressing this button here, align vertical to pivot. So it's gonna straighten out the selection and make this thing one straight selection, which is more or less what I need. Because when I bake this, I want to make sure that everything is gonna transfer just right. So once we have those, now we need to get in here and do this. Ah, damn it, this is gonna take forever. One of the crappy things about doing stuff unwrapping in Max. And I'm just gonna make sure that the ones in the corner are not overlapping. I don't really care about the ones in the middle. Okay, so these are not overlapping, that's fine. These are fine. The ones on the top, how are they? Dude, you're not late at all. You're just like 20 minutes late. All right, so that's fine. Select everything. And there we go. That's within the 0 to 1. That's fine. Just drop a save. And now export this to my. Now where the hell did I put that thing? There we go. Canonical bar. Exports, and we're gonna export out an OBJ. Call this rope whatever. Rope LP. Just call it save. Smoothing grip is not needed for now, so export is fine. Just call this rope LP, and I'm gonna call this rope HP. Now export out the HP as well. So rope HP, save. Texture coordinates fine. Export out, done. Let's just make sure that the distance for these is going to be just right. Now we're going to see if this thing is going to work or not. If it works, amazing. If it doesn't, oh, I'm going to have to fix it. All right. It kind of depends which one you prefer to use, honestly. For me, I've been using 3ds Max mainly because that's what I use. People that are more proficient with Maya, they can use Maya, and people that have to unwrap a really dense UV layout, they can go with Unfold, you know. All right, so select. Now let me find my nautical bar, the exports, the LP. All right, so LP, okay. All right, there we go. So we have the low poly version in here. Hey, what up? Howdy, Bo. Hey, Jeff, what up? So display settings, no, there you go. Nope, it's not it. What the hell? Why did it keep? Ah, damn it! All right, this is what I was looking for. It was on the other screen. Okay, so what we want to do is bake the mesh map. Output size is 2K. Just this is a test. The rope HP. Really not that much else I need to do. Just check everything, make sure it's okay. The distance is 0.1. Nah, I'm not going to change anything. I just want to bake this thing and see how this thing is going to transfer. Yeah, of course it's going to transfer like crap. Yeah, of course this is going to transfer like crap, because why wouldn't it? Okay, so we want to get this thing to transfer over to this thing, but this thing is being a bit crappy, so it doesn't want to transfer correctly, so I do have some of the thing, but I guess we're gonna have to just play around with the distance to see how far this thing we're gonna have to push it. So maximum rear distance 0.3. 2.3 HP and LP. That's fine. Match my name. Anti-aliasing 2.2. And all right, let's try one more time to see how this thing is gonna play with. Ah, damn it! Still not going in. So it's. Okay, I guess I need to go lower. Hey, Sean. Yeah, Substance Painter and Quixel do more or less the same thing. The thing with the Quixel is that it takes a bit more time to get feedback. 0.05. Damn it! Why does it have to do that thing with the? When you click on the enter, it collapses. There you go. Okay, let's try this one then. I think I have really just touched on Substance Painter. I haven't really made any in-depth tutorials about it. Why do I? Of course. Okay. So this is what's happening at the moment. This thing is baking correctly, but this is where I screwed up. When I made this, I made it like a goddamn idiot because I made it so it's in this in the actual texture, but instead of like getting more of the textile space, I have it all into one stripe. So it's actually getting baked, but this thing needs to be broken down. So let's just redo this really quickly. I keep doing this stupid mistake. I've done this in a project. It costed me about 4 or 5 hours of trying to figure out what the hell I did. Just in the finish of the project, you just realize that I made a mistake. So I'll break that thing there. Okay, so now when I do this and arrange them next to each other, I'm going to break this thing down here one more time so we get a bit more textile space. There we go. Now we got more textile space, so it should, I stress it, it should work, right? Oh, we'll see in a second. So rope LP, yes, I want to replace it. Texture coordinates, fine. Export, done. Okay, new LP document for, I want to see the 4K in my viewport. That is going to be fine. Now, back to baking. Bake mesh. So, okay, so this thing, the HP, bake me a 4K map, so yeah, more, and match no interlacing, simple 2. Let's try this with it, see how this thing is gonna work now. In general, this should work, unless something goes really wrong. If something goes really, really wrong, yeah, this is gonna work. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna bake just fine. All of this is due to a lack of textile space. But yeah, that can be fixed. Just cut up the seams more, and then we can reuse this thing in multiple places. We don't need it to be uniquely textured, because this is a repeating thing. So we can just copy this thing with the same UV space. So even on something like this, as soon as it finishes the bake, come on. Yeah, this is one of the things that I do not want to use Substance Painter when it gets down to live streams, because the baking can sometimes take quite a bit of time. Same goes with streams where I would have to like render stuff. When I'm creating a tutorial, it's easy, but because I can edit out the renders. All right, so this thing, if I zoom it around, see, this is gonna work just fine like this. Later on, you can just drop in another texture to it, like maybe even one of the pre-made leather. Oh, hell no. This is gonna work. The leather is not gonna work. Let's try something like, well, no. I guess everything that really requires some of the texture that it has actual texture to it doesn't have enough textile density. So I'm going to try with something like just a plain color. Material, big fabric, denim. Even this thing has a, no. No, then, all right, let's go with, you know what, give it a scale, let's try 5. Okay, doesn't matter. What I wanted to see is if I can bake this thing down, and then for the color, we're just gonna choose, if nothing else, I'm just gonna use a fill layer, and in the fill layer, just drop in a color, like something like this. Find a way to like mask up some of the screw ups here, and done with it. Okay, wait, it says I'm actually supposed to answer something. Jeff said something. When you're serious about okay, dude. If you're using a plant that has 300,000 polygons, and you're using it as your main plant, that's a bit of a problem, because that's a way too high polys for that plant. But if you're going to be using like something like Multiscatter or Forest Black Pro, those actually use proxies for the plant, so it's very fast and very non-expensive. So it's very cheap for resources, because you're not scattering 300,000 like a million times. Just it draws the info from that thing just once. There you go. So this is okay. I'm happy with this. On the discard, anti-isolate. Dude, the render is always going to be slow, because the render will take that into account. It has to render out that scene. Okay, so that's fine. Yep. All right, so let's do this. Effect pivot only, go to pivot to pivot. Pivot to pivot. So now 45. Again with this 45. Delete this. And all right, so once I'm finished, I can actually, oh, dude, did you just tell me to check out the new software called Materialize? Touche, dude, touche. This is if you were making materials for PBR workflow. It's a really nice way of creating PBR textures from pretty much any sort of image. So this is a pretty interesting software. Haven't had that much time to like really play around with it, but it's a free way of creating textures. It's like a free version of bitmap to material from Substance or algorithmic. It's a really nice software. So if you guys are going to be playing around with textures, I would recommend you check out this materialized software. There you go. Okay, so that's fine. Now, if that thing is okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these four. So I'm just going to later on, once I have that thing done, I'm going to just basically copy them around. So now let's quickly get this thing done. And for this, I'm actually going to go turn on edit poly and see what I have to do here. What have I done with you? Ah, snap. Okay, all right, cool. I actually like this if this is how it's supposed to be at. Okay, we can work with this. So basically what I want to do now is take this, throw in an unwrap to it, but above the X form. That X form is really screwing up my stuff. So let's simply do this. I'm going to collapse you. Yes. I want to collapse it there. Now, I do miss that edit poly where I had the chamfers. But for the low poly, I don't actually need that. So what I'm going to do is unwrap this really, really quickly. So for this, all I need to do is select that edge, select this edge, that edge, that edge, and right there. On the top here, and on the bottom here. So they are the ones that will be less. We're gonna have less chance of seeing those. So now, what I want to do is select everything, really quickly go with the peel, like that. Dude, there is no such thing as a best software for rendering. You can do pretty much rendering in any software. Starting from the free software, which is Blender, coming down to stuff like Max, Maya, yeah, everything. And if you're asking about which rendering software, like which renderer, you have, again, Corona, V-Ray, everything. So now let's open up my text tools and align it there like that. And it's still not aligned. Amazing. Align. Okay, so let's do it manually. Okay. I do not know why I'm doing this on the stream, but here we are. Unwrapping on stream live. Amazing. So much fun. Okay. So open up the editor. Yeah, this is fine. Go to middle. Poly. And call this bench wheel. Copy. Now let's actually How do I mean, do I always work like this, or do I look faster? So now let's do this before I do anything else. I'm going to create a layer and call this LP, low poly. There you go. Take this thing, put it to the low poly. And create one more, call this high poly. And basically this is what I'm doing. I'm just creating two versions of it. Create poly over there. Hide that one as well. Open up the low poly, that's fine. Now I want to create a copy of this. This copy will be called HP, and it will go inside the high poly version. Now for the high poly version of it, what I'm going to do is again throw in the same loop, chamfer, that's 0.2 or 0.1 actually, 2 version or 2 edges like that. Okay. Turbo smooth, 2 iterations, and we got our bench wheel high poly done as well. Let's just give this thing a different color. There you go, little. So we have this thing done. We have the Andreas. Hey. So anyway, so that's fine. So we have the low poly, we have the high poly for this thing. Open up this. So let's continue with this thing. So let's call this anchor LP. This LP is a bit HP, but whatever. This can work. Anchor LP. Copy it around. Actually, before copying it around, put it in the low poly version. Now copy it as a high poly. High poly, close the low poly, and I keep saying high poly and low poly all over again. Okay, turbo smooth, smoothing groups, and smoothing groups are kind of fine, but not really. Alright, whatever, this should not really translate, it's going to translate well here. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. Whose idea was to get me to start creating stuff for Unreal? I keep forgetting. Unwrap, UW. Alright, so those two. And grow once. Where's the plus? Where's the plus? Where's the plus? There we go. I'm making the HP and LP versions so that once I'm... What the hell is this? What the? Dude, why is this thing here? You should not be there. Okay. Like I was saying, I'm doing an LP and HP versions mainly because I want to export them out and use them just really quickly. I want to export them out into Substance Painter for baking later on, so we can have all the details from the high poly version into the low poly model. Because if we go and make this thing into Unreal with high polys, it's not gonna like it. It's not gonna like it at all. So, okay, so you can, no, you can be deleted, or not, damn it, good. Collapse these two. There. Collapse these two. Right, everything's fine. So let's really quickly go over and make sure we have no green lines anywhere. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so again, 15, there and there. Grow once. Fine, all across, that's normal. Yes, you can turn off the clipping, basically, so this thing does not happen to you. Like when you go over here and this thing happens. Is this what you're talking about? Yeah, what I prefer to do is instead of going into perspective, I just press U and go into orthographic. Orthographic will let you to go, let you zoom in as closely as possible without actually clipping. But if you don't prefer to go into orthographic, what you can do is go over in the configure viewports, and in here, I think it was in the angle, should have gone on this one. I know that there is a, where the hell was it though? Now you can actually control what is the angle that you're viewing everything at. But I'll be damned, it's somewhere here, I think. Show the compass below, no, there's the compass. It's here somewhere. I want to check it later on. Now I just need to convert this. It doesn't want to convert. Amazing. Okay, then. Let's do it like this. And increase planar projection. Increase planar projection. Increase planar projection. Put that in there. Actually, this one and this one can again be grown. Nope. Okay. So just grow once and project that. Reject. Now. Grow once. And now here's this is a bug. This is really a very, very annoying bug, because when you go ahead and just hit peel mode with something selected, what 3ds Max 2017 does, it will take everything that you've done and peel everything off. And that is not what we want, but in this case it's actually not that bad, because it just peeled off these guys as well. But we don't want everything to be peeled, so I'm gonna turn it off, go back. And now if I just want to peel this thing off, now I'm gonna note this thing works perfectly up until 2017, I think. 2016, I'm not sure. I know 2015 works just right. When you peel, it only peels the selected item. I've actually even checked on Autodesk's forums, and the way to actually do this, just for whatever you have selected, is you display only the selected polygons. You basically isolate this thing, and then you hit the peel mode and turn it off. And now everything else that you just worked on, it's basically not moved. Otherwise, it just screws up everything. So, there you go. So now I know everything has the same pixel density, like that. That was in case somebody wanted to know how that thing is done. So there you go. Okay, so that, and that. Grow. Again, isolate. Peel mode. Turn off peel. What the hell is this? Oh, really? My geometries? Yeah, whatever. I'm really gonna be pissed if this is what just happened. Yeah, it did. It did. It did. So if I go over here, and of course there's gonna be a flyaway vertex. Move this. Yep. And just doing this thing totally just screwed up everything that I did so far. Oh god damn it, I hate this. Yep, that's fine. What about you? Yep, you're screwed. Collapse. Here's another one. Ah, yes, that side. Why does this keep happening to me? Alright, let's see. It's fine. It's fine as well. So if I delete this now, yeah, everything's gonna work just fine. Do the same thing on this side. Collapse. Collapse. It's one of those things. Collapse. Save. Welcome to the world of a 3D artist. Vertex cleanup. Clean, let's see, no braces removed. Okay, that means that right now this thing is more or less right. You know what? Screw that guy. What else do I have to do? Let me just fix up. Oh, it's a different bug. I mean, hell, 3ds Max has never been short on bugs. You can find bugs everywhere. So let's fix up this one as well. So leg, okay. Okay, LP. This should not be that hard to do. Actually, come to think of it, it's not really that much change. It kind of depends on how close I'm going to be getting to this thing. You can probably add in an extra, but here would be a very bad thing because it's next to the edge. So no, I'm not going to be anything there. I might just select this thing and make it so it's following with the set flow. But even that, no. Now, new versions of Max don't really like some of the plugins that I use, so that's why I lag behind. Plus, 3ds Max has stopped creating things that are worth upgrading for. Let's really quickly check this thing, set flow. That's better. Without that one, we don't need that one. Honestly though, you can be using a 2010, well not 2010, but 2014 version and just be golden, still rock on for years to come. Funny thing about the bug that I showed you with the UVs is that they have that thing happen in the 2016, then they fixed it, and then they reintroduced it back into 2017. And when you go over and whine about it on the forums, they just go and tell you that it's a feature. All right, so now take this. Quickly unwrap this. Hey, Vladimir. So, okay, grow. Planar projection, grow, planar projection. Once, planar, grow once, planar, grow once, and make sure we don't okay, so we need to be very careful here. Turn this thing off. Like that, so grow once. There we go, that's fine. Now, isolate this. Field mode. Yep. Probably could have tried to do the, where is it? Nah, whatever. You need proper UVs if you're going to be doing anything in Unreal, especially if you're going to be doing baking. If you want to have clean bakes, you need proper UVs. With everything needs to be straight. Otherwise, you're gonna start getting some unwanted errors there, and you really, really do not want that. So linear line is fine. Let us straighten. No. So yeah, straighten the selection. Let's see if this thing can work. No, it works like crap. Don't need that. Yeah. A little bit isolate. Okay, so 15. I actually like the fact that people are exchanging knowledge. You guys are asking questions and then dropping softwares and comparing experiences, which is more or less what I was kind of hoping that was going to happen with this thing. It's kind of okay that I can actually reuse this later on. But people will see that it's gonna, well, they're gonna have a chance to see how this thing is actually done for Unreal. I can guarantee you that in about, very short, maybe even within a year, people are gonna start really looking into Unreal. Even now, everybody's like looking for Unreal developers and Unreal people that know Unreal. But within a year, I think it's going to be the industry standard. Especially with some of the stuff that I've seen the guys from Epic do. That's insane. They're pushing realism to a whole new level. And all of this thing that I'm doing right now, people are going to have to learn how to do it. Lucky for me, I got into getting my interest up for Unreal when it was still back in Unreal 3 version. Back then it was something that I saw as a hobby. It's basically just like picking my brain for stuff to do. And then all of a sudden, it kind of took the ArcViz world by storm. Everybody was, this was the new go-to thing. Everybody had to know it. You know, boom. Dude, they are. That's the whole thing about Unreal. It's a game engine. The thing that we're using for ArcViz, this is just a side thing. The main money for Unreal comes from games and VR, especially VR. All right, so we have this thing. So save. Actually, you know what? Save this thing with different iteration, because without it, something goes wrong, file gets corrupted, and I delete my computer. All right, I'll check 3. Okay, so now this is fine. Leg HP. Oh yep, I will be baking the normals later on. Go smooth on this thing. Iterations, boom, there we go. I have all baked up for it, all made. It's just fine. So we have the rope, we have this thing. So now, next thing that I want to prep is these guys. I have purchased models. Well, actually, clients have purchased models for things that they needed me to fix. But the funny thing about purchased models is that you really, really want to know who you've purchased them for, because most of the time it takes longer to fix some of the models that they purchased than to create them by myself. So, same thing. Copy. This is just fine. I won't have to break this thing up. So let's check. And no, I haven't actually put any models for sale, which is something that I've always been thinking about doing, because I've probably modeled a lot of models, but I've never put anything up for sale. And that's actually a pretty good question. Has any of you guys put anything up for sale? And if you have, where have you put it up for sale on? And how did it go? Okay, so for the seating, we're gonna have enough in there, so unwrap UW, isolate. 2, 3, 4, 5, grow. You know what? That's fine for once. Three, 4, 5. Grow once. Boom. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once. This is going to be a problem because they're in the straight line. I probably could have just that's fine. Yeah, I've seen stores pop up on some of the, like you guys mentioned, ArtStation. I've seen a store pop up on, what's it called? Sketchfab. So, yeah. I keep saying that I'm going to check those things up, and I never actually start going and actually check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. All right, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I probably should have just went mapping and flatten mapping or whatever. Okay, that's fine. So now I select everything. And of course, some of these are going to be very scrapped. Okay. This is one of the reasons why I really prefer Unfold 3D, because you can just select all of the edges, give them the angle that you want them to allow into, like making them horizontal or vertical, and it's going to get all of those at the same time. If I select all the edges that I want to make them horizontal or vertical, it will make them horizontal or vertical, but it will collapse them all into one edge, which makes it pretty much useless feature, but whatever. It's there, but this is 3ds Max, and everything has to be either useless or very silly. I'll just create. For baking though, you just want to make sure that the edge sides or the far edges are straight, because if you leave them up like this, you could get some baking artifacts. And if you've never worked with Unreal and you think that baking is basically making food, maybe you're wrong. Oh, what is the thing is that I have that thing, Vladimir, I have it on shortcut, so just click that thing and it does the whole thing. But you still have to go and manually just click on that thing. Like so, that's fine, that's okay. Alright. Yeah. Just what Sean said. You can model everything. It's gonna take you a few days, and then it ends up like selling like once or twice, and it's like, man. Alright, so see. This turbo smooth on 2 iterations. All right, awesome. Let's just make them unique. I am not an After Effects user, no. If that was aimed at me, I'm not. Okay. So that's fine. Let's call this paddle. Paddle 1. Paddle 2. Okay, so delete this, clean up, unwrap. Oh, you know what? Since I have this thing selected. Go once. Not bad. Let's go. Let me down. Let me down. Break it up there. Oh. editor, isolate, field mode, off. And from what I'm seeing in the chat is basically if you're going to be doing the things that everybody else is doing, but you think that you're smarter than everybody else and you do it your own way, what happens is that everybody else sells 100 models and they split the money across all of them, and you sell one model. Because if everybody's doing something, it's because there is a demand for that certain thing. Of course, this will work with this. Okay. Oh, no. No! Hello, 3ds Max, I hate you. Kyle, it's more or less, it's not in the box thinking, it's basically the demand for what sells and what doesn't. The market drives the demand. And also, if somebody is in the market for, let's say, I keep seeing the futuristic hairdryer pop up. Not a lot of people are in the market for that thing. You know, it's a very, very specific thing, and whenever somebody needs a futuristic hairdryer, what usually happens is they go over and they look for an actual modeler to help them model out a futuristic dryer. But yeah, thank you for crashing on me, Max. I appreciate it. It's very, very good from your side. Thing there. Open up the new editor. Down there and there. There we go. Fine. And Eric, yes, I am. I do use Substance. So let's go with 15. Row. That side. I drank a potion, dude, and I got to be a lot smaller, because up until now, this is how I was sitting up, and when Max crashed, I had a choice. I was either gonna get pissed or just relax in my chair and enjoy. Well, Kyle, I'm really happy for you, man. Honestly, and I do mean this, I'm really happy because that thing is working out for you. So make sure that's fine. Okay, text tools, select that edge, align it there. Oh, snap, that's nice. Let's do this thing all on its own. Align. Alright, cool. Go over there. There we go. Okay. And something like that. All right, great. We got that thing done. Yeah, I've actually tried X-ray before. Honestly, one of the things that I do love more than X-ray is Unfold 3D. But one of the drawbacks is that when I use Unfold 3D, I have to collapse all of my stack. And it's really not something I enjoy doing that much. What would it be? Yeah. So this is one that's fine. Right, so since this is going to be exactly the same thing as this, put it in there, put it together with XYZ. And delete that one. Now we have an unwrapped one. So that'll 0, 1, 0, 3. LB. Do this one more time. Maybe. Really. Video 2. LB. So we have all of these 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna have to do this thing as a name, change battle, hold 4. LB. Do it to turbo smooth. Well, Sean, if you would have gone to NASA, maybe you would have seen aliens, right? You missed out on that. Let's see this before. That's what I was thinking. Twitch. That'll check through, not necessarily cover. You don't go to NASA to make money. You go to NASA to see aliens. What did it say? The aliens are disposed at the moment? Hey, Vinny. Or Vin? Family. Dude, you're Vinny. Welcome to the stream. So let's see, one more up. Boom. Boom. They gave you the slave treatment. Where are my slaves at? Where are my slaves at? And you were like, alright, master, I'm going. And everything else is just fine here. Isolate. Go like that. It's fine. I might actually have to come in here and cut this thing somewhere. I don't like having that long stretch. So, right there. Dude, they have to be aliens. That's why they're strange. Imagine you going to another planet. People are gonna think that you're strange. Okay, that's fine. That's straight. 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 Oh, I'm not touching you guys. I'm just gonna make you straight with the help of the text tools. Make it so a line there. A line there. Select everything. Back together. All right. So this means that now we have these four in the background, or not in the background, but in our LP layer. That these are all of them. They have been unwrapped, so now I can just select all four, copy them down, and put them down into the high poly, and just go in and rename them properly with the HP. 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 And the last HP. Now, for the great thing about doing the HPs is just dropping Turbo Smooth. Dropping Turbo Smooth, 2 iterations, Turbo Smooth, 2 iterations, and the latest Turbo Smooth with 2 iterations, and voila, we got that. Really well done. Problem. Make sure you click on the smoothing groups, because without it, we get silly results. All right. And thing that's left is yes, this thing. Alright, so this is the base bolts, copy, move it all the way up to the low poly. Alright, now let's quickly do this. So 15 degrees, that's fine. Roll once. New editor, planar projection. Roll once, planar projection. whole thing, just scroll once, isolate, and then peel. Oh, turn off the peel before you move anything. Turn off isolation mode. Alright, row. Project. Row. Isolate and peel. How is this thing? And why is it off? Okay. Really? Well. I do every place where it has an actual hard surface, I would choose to have an actual uh, smoothing group. So go to stitch. No, okay. Two. Just one straight. What the hell is this one? Okay. Alright, now rescale everything, back them together, make sure that they're all correct. Oh. Let's just make them straight. Because if I don't, issues. This is one of the reasons why I really shy away from making modeling tutorials about Unreal, because every model that you make, it's like doing double the work. You have to do the low poly, you have to do the high poly, then you have to do the baking and everything. So it's always so much work. Okay. So now I guess the only thing that's left here is make this thing copy the high poly model. That's okay. Should work just fine. And now the only thing that's missing for this low poly model, I think it's that. Yep, this can be reused from the other low poly, so I have to remake it. Fine, so just need to unwrap this thing again. All right, hold on, let's go this way. Let me do something else then. If you think I'm going to be doing this thing on you again, you are wrong. Exports, anchor, LDA. Okay. Come here, anchor. Okay. This is a much different. So let's see it like this then. Come on, where the hell was that angle selection? I know for a fact that in Unfold there is an angle selection, but my brain is trying. It's supposed to be somewhere here, I think, but whatever. Today is not a day where I remember things. So that's fine, so just press 1 plus. Press C. Cut it off. Unfold. Why the hell did you make it look like a Klingon ship? What the hell is wrong with you? Whatever. There you go. Where the hell was that angle selection? Annoying me beyond. Selection. UAV, no. Alright, whatever, you know. Just gonna go in, do my selection like this. Make sure everything is selected into there. Face selection is okay. Nothing else has been selected. Row ones, C. C. Since this is going to be wood, I want those edges to actually have their own. Maybe island. That one as well. That one there. Selected. This one and that one. Okay, we have that thing, which is going to be just fine. We'll see how that thing bakes. Add this really quickly, make sure we have the cuts in the right place. What do you guys prefer using for unwrapping? What does this thing look like? A retarded person. Don't be happy, come on. Jesus. Okay. Dude, how do you mean it looks similar to Unfold? Rizom is the next version of Unfold. Unfold 3D got bought off by Rizom Labs, so they just took their project or their product and just named it Rizom Labs. I have it, but I'm still sticking with whatever version that they had previous to this, because in the new version, what they did is they took all of the keybinds that I'm actually really comfortable using, and they just said, you know what, screw it, we're gonna change everything. So one of these days, I'm actually gonna sit in and actually try to learn the new key bindings, but up until then, I'm still using this version. I know, Sean, I know. But, you know, sometimes when you start doing something and you get into it and you simply don't want to, like, admit to yourself that you shouldn't have done it that way, you just keep on doing it. Well, that's what's happening right now. Once you start going wrong, you know you're going wrong, but you just keep being really stubborn and go like, I'm gonna go and be so wrong that eventually in the end, I'm gonna be right. There we go. Save. So, delete. Now import to sports and LP. Boom. Where is it? Of course, it's in the heading file. There we go. Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to try and apply the smoothing groups based on the UVs. This is a pretty hefty trick that they have with text tools. You open up the UV editor. You get over here in the tools, you have create smoothing groups and UV shells. And it's going to do nothing. Really? Tools. Come on. Oh, there we go. Now we got everything to work just fine. So we got all of the smoothing groups to follow wherever we had a UV island. And this thing is good for one thing alone, and that is for when we make our second version now, the high poly version. So the anchor HP. You're actually going to delete it. I can turn on the turbo smooth, 2 iterations, follow the smoothing groups, and get this thing to look like this. Disregard the fact that it's looking a bit like crap here. Why is it looking like crap? Yeah, what? What the hell? Whoa, wait, something is very, very wrong here. This was really not supposed to work like this, and somehow it screwed up everything. So let's just open up the UV and see this. Oh, this is right. So what the hell? Tools, smoothing groups from UV shells. Okay. Select everything and what the actual hell is going on here now? Okay, for some reason this thing is really not liking to cooperate with me, so I'm gonna have to do this thing the old way. Bro. Okay. Bro. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing the UVs manually. But the thing is that this usually always works. And somehow when I do this thing on stream, it doesn't. Oh, you know, what the hell? Let me try and reset the X form first. Blocks, moving groups from UV shells, come on. Nope, it doesn't know where it worked. So everything here is just one. This is a 2. Actually, you know what? It might have worked. Oh, I think it worked. Let's see with turbo smooth. Really? Whatever. Fine then. We're gonna do this the old way. Instead of losing all this time, I'm actually going to are they though? They're not engons, they're quads. Okay, all right, it's not a problem. The way that I can do this is if I'm gonna take it up for making on the high poly, I'm simply gonna come in here, turbo smooth on like this without the, and now it damn works. Whatever, I'm gonna see how this thing bakes. If I see these issues, I'm gonna see how to fix them. If not, solve it. See, now it's just working just fine here. Whatever. Okay, so now comes the funny part. Take everything, save. Now, I want to select everything here, put on Unwrapping VW, do it, open up the UV editor. Everything's gonna look a bit crowded, select everything, make sure everything has rescale elements, and package custom. Now we can spend some more time try to optimize this thing and make sure that we get everything to get as much of the textile density as possible. But for now, just I want to test this thing out and see how it's gonna work. Now, before I do that, let me check and see how this thing is varying. Please put just normal texture. This lady is okay. Tiling, 2K texture. Go 5 by 5. Yep, everything is fine. Everything has unwrapping on it. Yeah, this kind of looks okay for now. So let's select everything, give it its own color. So gray is fine. All right. So time to go back, off, and now, since all of this has its own name with an LP, I'll select everything here and export out as chair LP. See. LP, smoothing groups on, export, done, hide the LP, show the HP, select everything, I hold LP, HP. Okay, use HP. Export. Sync HP. Export. Done. Open up Substance Painter and let's see how this thing is going to look like. Are you going to inform me that I have to update my version? Yes, you are, because you always do. New, select seat LP. Okay, that's done. So the LP version is here. Texture settings, we want to have a 4K texture. I'm not gonna screw anything up there. Go with a 4K texture in here, drop in the high poly, don't need an idea of thickness for now, don't have a cage, matching by name, antialiasing the same thing too, we named it HP and LP. I'm not going to screw around with anything else for now, just this, bake, let's see what happens. Moment of truth. If this thing is going to work or if it's going to give some issues. Dude, finding a full course for UV unwrapping in Max would be nearly impossible. You can find some courses where people are going to teach you how to unwrap stuff, but you're never going to find a complete course because it's never going to be a course where you can basically learn how to unwrap everything. You can learn the basics and then apply those basics to whatever that you were doing, but you're never going to find a course that's going to cover everything. Like I said, I really hate waiting for baking. Holy crap, 2 hours have passed. Well, this is the moment of truth. If this thing bakes up and everything is fine, it means that this stream went successfully and we actually have a product that we can use in Unreal. And if I have some issues, I'm gonna have to fix it. But from what I'm seeing, I'm getting a pretty decent and clean bake. Yeah, but still. 4K, yay! Even if this thing is working just fine, everything looks just fine. All right, so even here we have some clean cuts. Probably can go in, add a bit more geometry to hold this form a bit better. But since this is like wood, it can be like this, so it's fine. But from what I'm seeing, everything looks okay. So let's quickly just give it some wooden texture, see how this thing is gonna look like. Oh, hell yeah. Wood. And the great thing about this is that everything has a unique texture, so aha. Yeah, dude, links are allowed. Feel free and share stuff. There we go. Now for this, wood rough. Let's try to do another wood. This is with a really old look. I actually like this one as well. Plastic, of course. Let me just check something else. I'm not really making any. Yeah, man, Red Dead Redemption wood. But yeah, this is what you would get when you get weathered wood. Let me just find something. This is a different past. Let's put on this one. That's what I had in mind. With just stylized, I can turn off some of the crunch. I think the crunchiness gives it that nice wetted look. I actually like it. And the funny thing is that with this, even for some reason I think that one of these looks a bit crappy. Yeah, I can. Hell, this is not even like the final end result. For now, I'm just like looking at things how they look like as a preview, but I'm probably gonna have another pass on texturing this properly. Just now, I just wanted to see how this thing is gonna look like as it is. But I can probably here is what I can do, and since I'm pretty sure that I have some space left here. I do have some space left in the unwrap. Yeah, quite a bit actually. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up taking this whole thing and copying it on this side and giving it its own unique UV space, so it's gonna have a better result opposed to by basically taking this thing and copying it on the other side and making it share its spot. So yeah, this is gonna end up looking as a really nice asset even when we put it into Unreal. But I guess for today, more or less, this is gonna be it. There we go. This is what we created. Environment, just hide the environment. Or wasn't. Visibility. Exposures. Oh, well. There we go. Something with the lighting like this. Color, something really light. All right, there we go. We got this thing to be used for Unreal, and more or less that's it. Yeah, man, I'm happy. Hell, I've been doing this for like 2 streams and finally it's finished, so hot damn. All right, this card, not doing any more changes to this. I'm gonna be the happy dog with the bone, and today we got our stream done and everybody's happy. I hope everybody had some fun on the stream. I would like to thank everybody that was with me. I had fun, and I'm gonna see that if I can, I'm gonna stream again in Saturday. And if I cannot, I will see y'all on the next stream, which would be on the next Tuesday. So, see y'all. Bye-bye.